All right. Good morning, everyone. I will call this meeting to order at 11:05 a.m. I will begin with the Territorial Acknowledgement. So we respectfully acknowledge that the SFSS is located on the traditional unceded territories of the Coast Salish peoples, including the Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, Coquitlam, and Katzie nations. Unceded means these territories have never been handed over, sold, or given up by these nations, and we're currently situated on occupied territories. I will move on to the roll call of attendance. I'll begin with myself. My name is Tawanda, and I'm the chair. My pronouns are he, him, his, and all my access needs have been met. Shina will not be joining us today. Jasdeep will join later. Can we have Andrew next?
I'm Andrew, business rep. Pronouns he, him, his. All my access needs are met.
Thank you. Fiona?
Fiona, FCAT rep, pronouns she, her, hers, and all my access needs are met.
All right, thank you. And then we have Gio.
Hey, Giovanni Sang. My pronouns are he, him, his, and my access needs are met at this time.
All right, thank you. I see on the phone we have Corbett and Gabe. You guys can just introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name's Corbett. My pronouns are he, him, his, and my access needs are met. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gabe. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm the council chair and the incoming VPUR, and my access needs are met.
All right, awesome. And we have society staff joining us. We'll begin with Sylvia.
Hi, everyone. Sylvia, she, her, hers, access needs are met, but if everybody can slow down and speak clearly, that would be greatly appreciated. Verna?
Verna, Territory Finance Manager, she, her, hers, and my access needs are met.
Shanika Blake, Executive Assistant, access needs are met.
Kristen, Admin Assistant, all my access needs are met.
All right, thank you so much. I will move on to the adoption of the agenda. Be resolved to adopt the agenda as presented. Can I get a mover?
I move.
Gio, can I get a seconder?
I can second.
Thank you, Andrew. Discussions. I would like to amend the agenda and add regrets from Shiner. Does anyone have any other amendments? Okay, take that as a no. So I will move to amend the agenda. So I want to add notification of regrets. So be it resolved to add regrets from Shiner. Can I get a mover?
I move.
Thanks, Gio. Can I get a seconder?
Yeah, I can second.
Thank you, Andrew. So Shiner will not be able to join us today. All those in favor, just say yay.
Aye.
Augment my screen.
Okay, yay.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Now I'll move to adopt the agenda as amended. Can I get a mover?
Aye.
Thanks, Gio. Can I get a seconder?
I can second.
Thank you, Andrew. Any other discussions? No. All right. So all those in favor of the agenda as amended?
Aye.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. That's carried. I move to matters arising from the minutes. Be it resolved to receive and file the following minutes. FAC 2020, March 27th. Can I get a mover?
Aye.
Thanks, Gio. Can I get a seconder?
Yeah.
Thank you, Andrew. Any discussions? These are just meeting minutes from our last meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, awesome. Thank you. Carried. I will move on to new business. So, whereas the FAC has drafted the 2020-21 fiscal year budget, be it resolved to recommend to the Board of Directors to approve and adopt the 2021 fiscal year budget. Can I get a mover for this one?
Aye.
All right, thanks, Gio. May I get a seconder?
Yeah.
Thank you, Andrew. So yeah, as you all know, our finance department has been working tirelessly, during this tough situation, to try and compile the budget, and it hasn't been very easy for them, given the magnitude of uncertainties they're having to follow and maneuver through. But a lot of work has been put in and has been done, and we can say we have a draft that we can discuss today in this meeting. And if people have any concerns, questions, additions, subtractions, this is the plan for us to discuss that. So I think for starters, I would ask Rowena to just give us a quick summary of some of the significant changes she's made to the budget, some of the challenges she's faced, and just what she has got for us already. So over to you, Rowena.
Actually, Tawanda, if it's okay with you, I've asked Rowena that she allows me to present the budget because, in spite of perhaps your perception, I am actually guiding this whole budget preparation. So I would like to speak to it, and Rowena will add in if I say something that is incorrect. Is that okay with you?
Okay, we do not have a problem with that. Please take it away, Sylvia.
Okay, thank you. So I trust that everybody has received the April 15th budget, the draft. Everybody has it?
Yes, we have. Yep.
Okay, perfect. So if you look at the first tab on the budget, it is the the consolidated budget, and you have two columns. Okay, so hold on for a second. I'm just opening the. Well, that's what I have right here. Okay. I don't think so. Okay, hold on. Okay, sorry, I apologize. We have so many different versions that I am opening one that is the 6th iteration, and there is another one that I will get in a minute. So, but just generalities, perhaps I can take you through the notes that we have made and the assumptions, and some of the assumptions that we have made for drafting this budget. And the assumptions are, first of all, around the revenue. As you can imagine, with a summer semester that's going to be remote, the potential for decreases in enrollment are very real. So we have made some assumptions that a percentage of our revenues will be lost because of the inability of students to attend classes physically. And we have also assumed that many of our international students will not be enrolling. And also we have made assumptions about the Fraser Institute as in International College. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of something else, but that the enrollments will also drop down. So we have made those assumptions as you see them in the budget sheet, in the consolidated and in the notes. And with that kind of a drop, okay, so let me just open the correct document. What's happening? Sorry, I apologize for that. Oh, that's good. That looks right. Okay, let me just go back and reopen it. Okay. Where did it go right now? Okay, here we go. Alrighty. So my apologies. As you can see in the assumptions that we've made, we've dropped the attendance of domestic undergraduate students by about 15%. 20%. So domestic students, 80%, and 50% of international students. And FIC, we've dropped by 25%. That is for the summer. And in order to be super prudent, we also extended that for the fall. Because as you probably know, and I've been sending articles to the board of directors, the current situation may extend itself to the fall. Many American universities are already looking to a potential drop in enrollment by about 15 to 25%. And I can't imagine that we're going to be very different from that. So as you all know, we normally budget on the side of prudence and diligence rather than being too optimistic. So with that being said, okay, there we go. I am now currently, sorry, my computer, for some reason, my computer keeps booting me out of places, so I just have to keep reopening. My apologies. All right, so then, sorry, why am I seeing this, Rowena? Sorry, give me a second, please. All right, sorry. So with that, the 2021 2021 budget total revenue were estimated to about 2.6 million. The administrative costs, obviously, we have all of the different departments and the admin office, all of the insurance, and so on, and you can see all of those costs outlined and itemized for you. And there's a few places where we've made some arbitrary increases. For instance, for the food bank contribution, we've increased that to $30,000, and so on. But I will bring your attention specifically to the administrative cost called administration office, because I imagine that some of you have noticed that we go from 829,000, which was budgeted in 2019, to 642,000. So the explanation for that is quite simple. Is the budget that was crafted as I was arriving in this role was with the intent of having many positions and so on happening full-time from the beginning of the fiscal year. So that unduly loaded our budget calculation. And, since nobody had a crystal ball at the time, it was what we thought was going to happen. But of course, then hiring was delayed and some people didn't get hired and so on. So what you are seeing in this current budget is the cost of the current complement of staff, plus the student advocate, who you remember the board discussed at the last, not at the last meeting, but one of the board meetings, and it was approved to go ahead. So we have that one in. And the other person is the First Nations Student Association coordinator. And you will see in the FNSA department, there is $40,000 something expense for that person, but that's just an in and out. So we will put it in the FNSA as an expenditure, but then it will come out of the operational budget. It's only so that we can reflect clearly what's happening and what it is targeted for. The same way the Women's Center or the same way out on campus has a specific number in there. We wanted to do the same for FNSA so that it's clear when it comes to the audit. please stop me if you have any questions at any time. And as you can see, I'm connected on the phone, but for some reason the computer has kicked me out of the video conferencing, I guess because I wasn't using it or something. But anyway, then we come to the expenditures that for the board of directors. Obviously, you know, the board of directors, executive and non-executive, as well as council, receives a stipend. So you have the expenses there and parking and all the other necessary corollaries that are there to support the board of directors. One of the things that we have upped this year is the legal and consultant expenses, simply because last year the board utilized a great deal of legal counsel to deal with its business, and rightly so, because there were very many contentious issues. And I can't imagine that the contentious issues are going to go down this year. So we've beefed up the budget for legal to $25,000, just to be on the safe side. The other place where we have beefed up the budget was the orientation and development and board retreat, because we actually, for the board development, have spent more than was budgeted, and we've had several development sessions this year that were obviously that you have to pay the consultants to do. So we are figuring that the incoming board will also develop itself in a similar way. So we've beefed it up to the actual expenses of this year. As far as the services are concerned, and this is where we have left it as if we were here all in person. It's a bit wonky to do that, but at the same time, you know, we are planning on very uncertain terms. So what we have done is we have left all of the contributions that are made for clubs and student unions and so on as is, so that we are able to provide those services and hit the floor running if we come back in September. If we don't come back in September in person, then we can review the budget and, you know, downward, because even if we hold events online, and even if we do Discord, or if we do any of those platforms that are required to hold events, the price of those events will be significantly less, simply because, you know, there will be no food, there will be no stipend potentially for a consultant to come and give a talk or whatever it is. So that could potentially go down significantly as well, depending on what happens if we come back in person in September or not. And of course, you know, over the year, the board has been discussing many of the places where they would like to participate. So welcome back, welcome week, all kinds of partnerships with the university. If we're not back here in person, then obviously that's not gonna happen, and we're not gonna contribute towards that. So at the end of the day, with all of these revenues and expenses and the assumptions that we have made, we come to a deficit of just over $500,000. If you go to the column to the left, the deficit that we thought we were going to have this year was $132,000, and we are actually now projecting a surplus of approximately $250,000. So, you know, we've done better than what we had anticipating by about $330,000. So, or $380,000, I should say. So that's the situation currently. And the premise of all of this, of course, is to conserve as much of the organization as possible as we weather these very tough times, so that we don't decimate the organization, and that we can come out at the other end when classes restart and we start having our regular business ongoing, that we are able to be all hands on deck and moving full steam ahead. So this is a very conservative budget. You can argue with me that, the assumptions that we've made of cutting the international students to 50%, it may be too exaggerated, or you can say, maybe we need to follow what the universities in the States are thinking, which is more 15%. Your guesses are as good as mine. If we do any of those adjustments, I can guarantee you that the deficit will probably either disappear or it will be insignificant, immaterial. But like I said, both Rowena and I, her as an accountant and I as a executive director with many years of doing this kind of work for many organizations, have both decided to err on the side of super prudence rather than what we've been hearing. So we've been super prudent with this budget, super conservative. I don't know if there are any questions.
So firstly, I'd like to say thank you so much to yourself and Rowena and the rest of the team for putting this up. I know, yes, we're discussing the 50%, the 80%. With all this great deal of uncertainty, the truth is you just never know. And we appreciate that you guys have leaned towards prudence, just doing what the most conservative thing to do. And we really appreciate that. I'll then pose to the rest of us here on the call. I'm sure you have access to all the other separate budgets and everything. Does anyone have any concerns or any questions they would love to have clarification on regarding the rest of the budget? For those of you that have taken the time to look at the whole thing itself, I'm sure Sylvia and Rowena will be happy to answer any questions.
Just one thing. Do we have the breakdown of the rest of the departmental budgets and stuff like that, or we don't get that breakdown similar to what we have for the financial statements in each month?
If you look at the rest of the tabs at the bottom of your Excel.
If you look at the Excel sheet, Gio, it's right after consolidated. There's another tab called 10. That's finance. 11, building operation costs. Good news.
Okay.
You see at the very bottom of the Excel? No?
I am on my. That's right. Okay, I'm checking. I'm going to use my computer.
Okay. Yeah, because there's different sheets for each and every department, and every breakdown has been detailed.
Yeah, so that's why we, I'm just speaking of the consolidated, but if you have any specific one of those tabs that you would like to discuss. The other thing that I have, after obviously listening to what happened since the Fall Kickoff and so on, we have also not put any budget towards a Fall Kickoff to ensure that, we were seen, that the SFSS and the board is seen as listening to the students and given the organization the year to ponder and think about the events that we hold, what constitutes a large event, what needs to be done around that, and the guidance for planning and budgeting and overseeing all of that. So that is something that we have been very prudent about as well. And there is no we're recommending no Fall Kickoff. And on the flip side, as you probably all know, and I've been reporting because as you all know, Gio and I meet every week, and I've been reporting that we are part of the planning for Welcome Back or Welcome Day or Welcome Week of the university. And instead of having a Fall Kickoff, we were speaking with them to be able to combine our events, even though it would be SFSS branded, it will be within the university so that we are just incrementally spending on an event rather than exponentially on a standalone event that is SFSS branded, but it's actually quite confusing because most people think it's an SFU event anyway. So that's what we have done in favor of Welcome Week instead of the Fall Kickoff.
All right, awesome. Thank you. Does anyone have any other comments or questions? Okay, I will take that as none.
But I'm just looking through a bit still, but I'll allow other people if they have questions to ask.
Sorry?
Sorry?
And sorry, I'm just looking at some of the other sheets. But like I wanted to check on the allocation piece around the lobbying and stuff budget. I remember our board having a conversation earlier about the demarcated funds under the department, operational departments, even though it's demarcated for board and it being confusing. Is that something that we could check in on the 22nd to see if the board or if even incoming people are agreeable, or what are their thoughts on that, since it caused so much it would be the same process in terms of like, you know, a committee can pass stuff and stuff like that, but then it would just be marked under the board's allocation as opposed to under the department allocation, just for clarity purpose, so people know how much is under each committee and stuff like that.
Just to give you a heads up on that, because of the confusion, and maybe for the individuals on the call who may not know that this happened, the previous board, not this current board, decided that instead of having every activity and every every activity that we did as an organization come to the board, that the board was going to throw to each of the different departments the board budget. So the board is the only body that can touch that particular pot of money for particular purposes, but it resides within the coordinator budget. So for instance, if we are talking about lobbying, it's within Sarah's department. So the research and campaign research and policies office, but
That's
only the board.
Department 18.
Yeah, so but the board is the only body that can dictate what happens around the board budget. So it lives in one place, but the decision is not Sarah's. But Sarah has to put, as you see in tab 18, she has put a budget that is similar to what we've done this year, but it is specifically targeted for board expenditure. And it was a bit, because it was the first year we were trying this, it was a bit confusing, where sometimes the committee thought they could make the decision, sometimes they thought they needed to go back to the board, and so on and so forth. So what I asked Sarah to do was to create a policy guideline. And in fact, funny enough, she just sent it to me last night, and I reviewed it. I sent her my comments this morning, and she is going to be sending me the final draft with my comments so that we can then share it with everybody, the board committee, and as well as our staff, so that everybody's clear on the guidelines on how this money is being spent. Does that answer your question, Theo?
Yeah, it's just to make sure that whichever way it is, that board get a chance to have a conversation or have an input on it.
The board does by approving the budget, right?
Yeah, but like before, because meaning during conversation, yeah. But this is something just like to make sure that we bring up at the board table on Wednesday to see if that's something that people want, and give an opportunity for incoming board members to have a comment on it.
When we present the board, we can be very specific as to how, we will have by then the guideline, and we can say this is a guideline that goes with the expenditures.
That you're proposing. Yeah.
Yeah. like that there is clarity around all of this, because it's been very confusing. I agree. I think the first year to try anything is always very confusing. So.
All right. Thank you. Yes, go ahead, Gio.
The rent revenue that comes in from MBC is the 35. It's completely the MBC food court premium payment is the 35% that we get from the deal with SFU, right? From the transfers. We're just expecting that only half will be cut and not the whole thing.
Well, because we have to plan that we're going to move into the sub at one point, right? So the moment we move into the sub, there will be no more revenue that comes from the MBC.
Well,
No, I think that we get a full of 35% for a number of years or so, right?
it's a 10-year thing, but we're not charging rent right now because the MBC food court is closed.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying is that we have a budgeted amount from 42 to 28. We didn't charge the rent; it's SFU's rent, but from the transfer agreement that SFU has, the food court providers or food people, we get 35% of all of the rent that SFU collects, right? But we said 42 to 28 now. Is it that we are now we're expecting that? Oh, this is with the calculation that we open again in spring.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
So there's just the SFU, as far as I know, is not collecting rent while the workplaces are closed.
Yeah, but my question was like, why is it not zero? Because we don't expect. But then I forget that this is with the idea that we're coming back. Like, well, it seems as if we're thinking that we're coming back maybe in November or December based on the numbers.
Well, that is the, we're calculating as if we were coming back in September.
For the fall semester.
For the fall semester.
But that's up in the air.
Yeah. Until we know further, we don't, like I said, we made those assumptions that we will be coming back in person in the fall.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. So if we're all happy with this draft, we will then move to recommend it, and then we can also then have another expansive conversation with the rest of the board and incoming board members on Wednesday, where we have dedicated a session just for this budget alone. And I'm sure by then people may have more questions and more areas they may need clarification on. I'm sure that will be done on that day.
Tawanda,
are there any other comments? Yes, please.
I just had a really quick question, but I guess first of all, I just want to echo what you said earlier and thank Sylvia and staff for putting this budget together during this uncertain time. I just had a very simple question about the council expenditures, and I was curious why it was decreased, or the new budget allocates 3,000 less than the previous budget.
Hold on, we're just looking. Where's the council? It's with the board.
Offhand, to say I based the council budget based on the actual expenses of this year.
Sir, Rowena, please come again.
I based the council expenditures on the current year's expenses. I haven't talked to Sylvia, but what I can do is I can overlay the projection for the current year with the budget, so it will make more sense, because if you're comparing one budget year over year, it doesn't reflect what actually happened. It reflects what we thought was going to happen this year.
Right.
So when I overlay the current year's projections, it will make more sense.
So similar to what I was speaking about when you saw the administration office being 829 for budgeted for this year. Once we come to do the budget, we obviously look at what the reality of what happened during the year, and that's why the projected the budget that we are putting forward is 642. Between what we budgeted for and what actually happened, we are now showcasing reality, and I think that is why the council No, I don't think. I know that's why the council stipends or expenses were reduced to reflect the reality of what happened during the year. Does that answer your question, Dave?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, awesome. Thank you, everybody. Any other questions? Any other comments? Okay, take that as none. All right, so thank you so much, Sylvia and Rowena.
You're very
and thank you. And like I said, we're gonna have a more extensive discussion around the budget with the rest of the stakeholders on Wednesday. But as for now, I will move to vote on the motion. So I'll just read it again. Be it resolved to recommend to the Board of Directors to approve and adopt the 2020-21 fiscal year budget. Can I get a yay from all those that are in favor?
Yay.
Thank you, Andrew. Fiona, Gio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just haven't got a chance to look at everything, so I retain a vote properly.
Okay, and again, this is just a recommendation, right? So we're
Yeah,
just
for the
voting to
motion carries,
recommend. Yeah, and again, on Wednesday, if any other issues come up, again, the budget will not be adopted until everything has been set out clear for everyone. So we just need to vote so that we can move forward to recommend this draft to the rest of the board members.
Yeah.
So, okay, you're still not going to vote on that?
No, the motion carries. 2 people just voted, so I don't want my abstention noted or anything. I just wanted to just get more time to look at it.
All right, awesome. So I'll take that as carried. Those are attachments. Okay, that's all the business that we had on the agenda today. Does anyone have any comments, additions, anything they would like to speak on that was not noted on the agenda?
Wanda, just a point. SFU applied to pick up our $150,000 check, so that's great news. We'll be of use to students.
Awesome.
Question on that. So, Sylvia, are you, by any chance, so how are we going to go about the FIC one? You're just going to talk to Charlotte and that's it? Or?
Yeah, I was not available for a call until next week. So I am scheduled with her. Shanika's looking.
You're scheduled to meet with her on Monday.
On Monday, there you go. So Shanika was worked her magic and she was able to get me a call with Charla on Monday. So once I did correspond with her, and she was really thrilled that the board approved those $60,000 for the FIC students. And then on Monday, we'll talk about how they will be able to distribute. What I will do also is I'm going to send her the current terms of reference that we have with FAA so that she can have a look at it, because I do believe that we need to put terms of reference between them and us for those $60,000 and a reporting mechanism, obviously. So I'm speaking with her on Monday, and I will brief you after. Okay. In the meantime, the $150,000 is gone to be deposited into SFU's account so they can start distributing. So that's really exciting. It took a little while, but it's like so. The processes here are so complex that it is what it is. But relief is coming.
Sweet, cool.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. So I'll move on to
The regrets from China that were added to the agenda are actually not approved yet or ratified. So could you please move back to the beginning of the agenda and also ratify the regrets from China?
I think we approved it earlier.
I didn't catch it because I have only this approval that they were added to the agenda, but they were not ratified. I don't have the mover or the seconder for this motion.
Oh, my bad for that. So I'm guessing that'll be item 5.1. Does it change?
It's item 4.1, the regrets.
Okay, so I'll read out the motion. So be it resolved to ratify regrets from Shiner and Just Deep at this point because she wasn't able to make it through the whole meeting. So may I get a mover?
I'll move it. Or
Thank you,
I'll second it.
Fiona. All right, so Fiona and Geo seconds. Any discussions? We're not able to make it to the meeting. All those in favor, can I get a yay?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, carried. Thank you. Should be fine with you, Christine, right?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I will move to adjourn the meeting at 11:45 a.m. May I get a mover?
Second. You said you moved or I
Get a
moved?
mover from you, Gio. Any seconder?
Yeah, I can.
All right. Thank you, Andrew. Any discussions? All right. So all those in favor, can I get a yay?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, carried. Thank you so much, everyone. Please stay safe.
Thank you.
We'll meet you guys next week, Wednesday.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yep.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Twanda.
All right. Awesome. Have a good day, everyone.
Too. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers.